All right, Jackson, I think it is the utopic time to talk about the Utopia intuition.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Trent Stuckey,
Yeah, goes without saying, right?
I mean, has turned the park riding world upside down.
Oh yeah, and then some. I've lost track of the Mob 7s that he's been pulling on the kickers.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. It's been, I mean, his whole progression riding from, I mean, we've seen him ride from the time he was knee tall to me to, to current date has been really an amazing journey to see him progress and turn into the rider that he has become and the professional that he's become, boat riding and cable riding. But nonetheless, let's get back to the Utopia.
Well, I think you paint a good picture there by like trying to say what Trent's been up to the past 5 years has been mind-blowing, right? And so a lot of what he's been doing has been on the RXT boot, which there are some unique ties between the Utopia and the former RXT. We took what we learned through those Ronix experiments, and we've applied that technology to the Utopia boot that's been so in tune with Trent's riding as it was, right? Like Trent's been winning tons and tons of contests on formerly the RXT boot. What better way to introduce his brand new boot to the marketplace than use some of those learnings, some of that technology into this one?
That's actually a really cool point that you bring up is that he was riding the RXT and, the experimental part of that, taking that, bringing it to a new boat for, the world of cable and park.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of really embodies the whole vibe of kind of what we're about.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what RXT is about, right? Like we experimented with the RXT board and expanded that blackout technology to the one. And now it's a way of doing that on the boot side. It's like we've experimented with enough RXT boots that now let's expand those learnings to this Utopia boot. And like you said, he's been setting the world on fire in RXT boots for years. What better model to start him off on than a reinforced version of the RXT, right? So that's what I think is so cool about this boot as we get into it is we're reinforcing it in different ways to make it more suited for the cable and just that constant in and out, like making it durable in more places than we can, or than we have in the past in regard to the boat boot, just because we're trying to reinforce it.
One thing that I've really thought is really cool about the whole Utopia line is from its first year till now is just how involved Trent has been. And what a reflection of his personality, his riding style, but also looking at a bigger picture with the product.
100%. I feel like a lot of the cable riders lately, it's been monkey see, monkey do, where it's like
100%.
Trent's been on this RXT route for the past few years, and next thing you know, everybody at the cable's riding an RXT boot. So I hope that is an extension of this, and I can tell you in working with Trent to develop the final product of this boot, like he's so in tune with his gear, he's so in tune with every little motion, so in tune with that communication, that feedback that we talk about, that it's been really fun to work with him on this as far as fine-tuning that construction to perfectly match what he needs at the cable.
I mean, I don't know if there is another rider that has the connection of, just the awareness,
right?
The complete,
right, a sixth sense,
full circle of awareness that Trent really brings to the table is second to none.
100%, yeah.
From seeing a lot of wakeboarding for a very long time, it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is. And like I've been able to follow him around OWC a few times, and it doesn't seem like the same sport that he's doing that I'm trying to do. So, but it is cool that like a lot of the benefits that he's getting from this Utopia boot like are realized by everybody, right? Like it doesn't take a stranger to slide your foot inside of that Intuition liner and know that like this is the best material that we could be building boots out of. Like we've got such a great partnership with the people at Intuition. It's a perfect mold around your foot, and then it's actually double lasted. So it has a last that matches the shell of the liner, so that there's no dead space or anything on the inside of it.
Yep, it wouldn't be right to have a boot at this caliber and not include one of our favorite and main ingredients, intuition.
Of course, of course. And then on top of that, like we still feature a lot of the same high-end materials that we're using on the RXT and the One Boot and the Kinetic. Like we're still using the super fabric on the tongue of the Utopia Boot, which I think is so important when it comes to responsiveness and just the support you get when like getting on an edge, either toe side or heel side. You really want that responsive material to be right over top of the tongue of your boot, right? Because that's gonna give you that toe and heel. So we still feature materials like that. We've obviously got our FlexForm 3D heel panel, our FlexForm 3D toe box, our dual injected heel counter, and just like everything that goes into these, like we're not sparing any detail.
No, bringing all the tech. Let's talk about what this thing's sitting on. What are we looking at for a chassis?
Yeah, so one of the differences from the 2025 RXT to this 2026 Utopia Boot will be the transition away from brain frame to the mainframe 2.0 high cut. So everything that we're doing for this year is a brand new skeleton, brand new base plate design, constantly refining the things that work really well and just making a stronger connection between the shell of that boot and the base plates.
And you're saying this is a high cut?
Yes, so this is the high cut, and so what that means is it has a full length skeleton. So similar to our full height skeleton that was on the brain frame, that skeleton that goes above your ankle and really talks to the lower part of your calf, we've introduced that technology to our mainframe 2.0 base plate, so we've got that high cut.
So that's very interesting as opposed to the Kinetic, which is a walkable.
Right.
And the Kinetic is using the lower.
Right. So this being a non-walkable boot, we're trying to fall in line with the happenings in the cable scene these days, right? And what we've noticed is like at a park that you don't necessarily need a walkable booty to get back to the dock, there's more benefits in having a traditional style boot. So that allows us to have that full height, that high cut skeleton, and you definitely experience the benefit of that.
That's very cool. I've noticed a lot more cable guys have been going back
For sure.
to a traditional boot.
Yeah, and I think it's like personal preference. It's obviously like given your conditions. If you're out on a gnarly winch mission, you probably want to add those walkable boots to your quiver just to have. But overall, like the experience and the feeling that you get in a traditional style boot riding around the cable, like that supersedes some of the feelings that you need when it comes to walking back to the dock. So it's just definitely a different fit, definitely a lot more flexible than our EXP stuff.
And also connection-wise, you're getting more direct feedback and more of a direct connection.
Totally. So it's more simplistic in the way that like when you're tightening the laces of a non-walkable boot, like a traditional style boot like this Utopia, you're feeling that feedback from just the shell, right? Like there's no difference between tightening the liner and then tightening the shell. It's all kind of built into one.
That's very cool. Let's talk about size range. It looks like we got 7 options here, 6 to 14.
Yep, so same with a lot of our high-end Ronix boots, like we're offering it in 7 sizes just to make sure like you get the size that you need. So everything from 6, 7, all the way up to 13, 14. We scale everything accordingly and make sure that each one of those is fitting real good.
Very cool, very cool. Let's talk flex, feeling, and vibes.
Absolutely. So the flex on this boot, to give it a rating out of 10, is going to be a 6 out of 10. So it's going to live somewhere in between that RXT and that One Boot when it comes to traditional style boots, and it's just going to lean a little bit closer to that RXT, being that it's consistent with the RXT from last year. So 6 out of 10 flex when it comes side to side, but we're still going to have tons of responsiveness when it comes to forward and heel side edges, right? Because we've still got that super fabric, we've got that injection heel counter, like we're going to get the responsiveness.
And we're talking about a rider that is, you know, basically leading the charge in what's possible off kickers and I mean big landings, and so he's looking for a boot that, you know, he has that flexibility for tweakability,
right,
but still has that support in big landings.
Yeah, which is fascinating, and I think that's where like the proof is in the pudding. Like we've done those experiments to realize that we can make a flexible boot that's still able to withstand some of those impacts that you're getting from like a gnarly edge towards an XL, right? Like you do need some support when you're landing some of those gnarly tricks, but like it allows him to do crazy different presses, crazy different tweaks, and have the flexibility where you need it.
Very cool, very cool. I mean, you know, the whole rise of the Utopia and now becoming a full line, adding the Utopia boot, I just look at, you know, watching Trent progress and grow and where he's at now And you could say, you know, for how long he's been riding a wakeboard from being a kid to now is probably double the time of most pros' careers.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I still look at it as the fact is that he still has not reached the pinnacle of what he's capable of. And I feel that, you know, along with that journey, the Utopia line has a lot of growing to do with it. So it's really cool to see where it is. I think it is like such a phenomenal look. And as we've talked on other, I mean, look and feel, I mean, like, and encompassing, as we've talked about other product as a perfect pairing, I think this is up there with the RXTs with Mossy's, the one with Danny's, you know, Supremes with Jake's.
Yep.
I mean, I think this is just another, you know, chef's kiss.
Of course.
When it comes down to it.
Of course, and like knowing what he's set out to accomplish, right? Like just the journey that he's on, to be a part of that and to help give him every tool that he needs to keep progressing is a unique position to be in too.
Very cool. Very cool.